Hey GoPro and subscribers. I've got, I think we're almost up at the 160 mark here for subs, so I appreciate everybody kicking around a little bit more into the Dodge. I am still fucking with this thing. Had a little bit of an issue. If you notice how the fan shroud, how they put the mounts in here, that this would go down onto there. Anybody working on one of these Dodge, be very careful with these mounts. There's a little kind of clip in on this side, and that's all fine, but this one, and this one. So I tried some hot glue just to see if that would go, but not a great fix. I was still leaking a little bit. This is the coolant reservoir. It's a bicycle patch with a bunch of RTB. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I might epoxy it. We might just go grab another reservoir from Pick and Pull. I don't know if that's going to work. Maybe. I could JB weld it. I could do a bunch of stuff. I want to see how that works. So it's Loctite black RTV. One of the other things I've been noticing is a slight wobble in this power steering pump pulley. And I thought it was the pulley, but I managed to get a puller. We pulled this off, put it onto a glass surface, and no wobble, nothing in at least this edge of the pulley. It's hard to get it on glass to check this side, but seeing as this side isn't warped, I don't think it's the pulley that's warped, so maybe this shaft and power steering pump need to go fairly soon, but I don't know if it's really easy to tell here now that I put it back on. It's a little better than it was, but I don't know if you watch this gap or some of the gap in there, you'll kind of see it come out and go back in and come out a bit, and it's kind of right there, I think. So just a slight wobble. I mean, I was getting a little bit of squeal, and some of that really seemed to be coolant. So coolant was pooling up down here, the fan would turn on, and then the whole belt's covered in coolant. So definitely watch out for these guys. I was getting a jingle from this guy, the air compressor clutch pulley and clutch. There is a electromagnet in behind here that pulls this clutch in and turns the compressor on, or engages the compressor. Otherwise this just freewheels, and I was freewheeling this earlier and it was just ching 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 ching, like there's just, it was gritty, and it was also just jingling. So I think a lot of the chirping and jingling was coming from this. The other chirping was definitely this pulley not being quite aligned properly. I still may have to work with this. I don't have it quite flush. It was pushed on probably a little bit too far before. So if anything, I'm just gonna have to bump it forward just a notch if I'm not quite lined up when I get the belt back on. But it was pushed on a little bit too far, and I was riding this edge with the belt. On top of that little bit of wobble, I'd get a chirp on every revolution. So just chirp, 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 chirp. So I was getting the chirp off this, but I was also getting jingle and grit from this, and it just made for a whole shit ton of noise. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm waiting for this to set up. I'll probably do it overnight, put the belt back on, and see how it sounds. But that's a lot better. Just for a heads up, this is an angle grinder chuck tool. Beauty, yeah, I think so. So just a heads up, if you got an angle grinder, even like a Power Fist angle grinder, I think, or Harbor Freight or whatever, that should fit in there enough for you to be able to get that nut off. I didn't have a big 3-jaw puller to pull this all off, but I did manage to get it out, make sure the bearing kind of looked and felt okay, but I still had the jingling going on. So there's a few surfaces back in here that seem to have a whole lot of dirt in them. Hopefully that electromagnet is fairly or potted fairly well, but I sprayed it out, cleaned it out good, and then blew it out with the air compressor. Hopefully I still have clutch function, but I guess I'll find out when I fire it up tomorrow. It is a whole lot cleaner, and finding these components aren't isn't the easiest thing, and I don't really want to replace the whole compressor because it involves more bullshit. So hopefully that's all still working good, and hopefully it's a lot quieter. If I get any chirping, I'll probably just push this on a little bit more, but I just got to check my edges and see where the belt aligns. So if you're getting chirping and squealing, it could be a belt alignment issue. It probably is a belt alignment issue. Yeah, you can change belts and do all that kind of stuff and get rid of the squeal for a little while because you got a brand new belt. But after a few thousand K, it's probably going to come back, and definitely check this one. Harmonic balancer, that kind of shit, but this one looked to be the most out to me. So it's still a bit of a mess, but we're getting there, and we'll see tomorrow. Let everything kind of dry up on that patch job and see if it works. If it holds, then maybe I'll go look for a replacement. But there are, I think, about 11 Dakotas over at the pick and pull shop, so maybe I'll check out a power steering pump too and see if I can find one that tracks better than that. Rip it out and we'll see. So I just kind of want to get this back up and going for this summer, so it's in good shape in case I need to move and do things like that. So that and moving things back and forth between the shack, and want to finish up a little more. So I kind of don't want it crapping out on me on the highway, so check over everything. And yeah, I'm putting more money into a turd, but so be it.